What is a fact that could possibly save your life? If you have a cut that gets infected and see a streak of red going up from it, go to the doctor immediately. It is a sign of serious infection that can lead to sepsis. A girl in my middle school pointed out the girl sitting in front of me and started yelling that she needed to go to a hospital right away. The girl had what looked like a red purple tree root tattoo coming out of her sock and up her calf. Turns out she was right and it was some kind of blood infection. I was really confused at the time but never forgot it. That stuff is no joke. If you encounter a mountain lion, do not turn your back on it. Walk backwards. Cats are ambush predators. They don't want to fight you head on and will wait for you to turn around to attack. There are videos showing this behavior with tigers at the zoo. People will sit in front of the enclosure, and as soon as they turn their back to the cat, the tiger goes into stalk mode. They turn around to face the tiger, and the tiger goes out of stalk mode. This works on house cats too. My cat loves to stalk me, and when I turn and face her she's suddenly cute and fluffy and cuddly. I turn my back and my leg gets eviscerated. Actual fires spread shockingly fast. We all like to play what's the one thing you'd grab if your house was on fire? But the real right answer is that if it's not alive, you should leave it and get the hell out. People tend to imagine a fire burning on the floor in a corner somewhere. But the reality is often that it's running across the ceiling and circling around the walls. Just get out. I'm in Australia and recently was woken up by a watch and act alert. There was a bushfire racing up the gully 2 streets away. In that moment when I knew I wasn't going to stay and fight and had to leave immediately, I left with my phone, wallet, medication and pets. No trinket or photo album mattered. The necessities could be replaced. And people are really generous to those in need during an emergency. It was interesting packing my emergency bag for this season. And how little I packed. Will I be sad if my home burns? Of course. Will I miss some of my stuff? Yes. But I'm not going to care when the flames come. If you've gone 2.5 or more days without water, and you have to choose between drinking water without any way to sanitize it or not drinking water, drink the water. If you don't, you'll definitely die soon. Most of the diseases you can get from bad water take a couple days to set in, which gives you more time to find help. But not salt water, right? If you ever find yourself caught in a riptide, swim parallel to the shoreline until you get out of the riptide. Swimming directly back to the shore while caught in one won't get you anywhere and it'll only exhaust you, making it extremely dangerous to do so. You can do the Heimlich maneuver on yourself. Seriously. Think about how often you eat or snack when you're by yourself, even if someone is in another room. If you're choking you cannot talk or scream. Everyone should learn it. It's simple. Just make a fist and shove it up and into someone's ribcage. My fiancée was choking on some cake in bed and I was able to dislodge it that way. Shit ducking happens. Be prepared. If a friend of yours has fallen through ice into a frozen body of water and you would like to save them, lie down on the ice and crawl out to them. Do not walk out to them standing up. This maximizes your surface area and lessens the likelihood that you will fall through the ice as well, getting you both ducked. 2. Side note. If you are the one to fall through the ice, the first thing to do is to calm down and fight the effects of shock by taking deep breaths. You will do no good spazzing out and hyperventilating. After calming down, the next step is to army crawl on the ice. Do not try to lift yourself up on the nearest ice because this will make that ice also fail. Once army crawling on the ice, bring your legs parallel to the surface of the water and kick hard and fast, pushing yourself onto the ice. Similar to the above comment. This is to minimize stress on the ice by maximizing surface area. Close your bedroom door at night. The amount of damage done to a room with a closed door by fire is significantly less than one with an open door. You may have a chance to escape. Edit. Here is a video showing the difference. YouTube.com link and feature equals YAUTABNT equals 213. Good call. U/cancermom 1,010,101,010. Let me piggyback on this. If you are trying to escape a burning building and are about to open a closed door, Be wary that there may be fire built up and trapped on the other side waiting for an opening to burst to the next room. If the door opens inwards, towards you, stand aside while opening the door, using the door as a shield, so the built up fire doesn't blast you. Don't tailgate. Don't brake check tailgaters. Seriously this. You're in charge on a 1+ ton death machine and you want to play games? Duck right off with that shit and messing with other people's lives. Rhinos, hippos and buffalo are more likely to duck you up than carnivores. TBH, they are all just boss level cows. Fast, face, arms, speech, time. It's a way to spot a stroke. Face. If you've got an uneven smile or a part of your face is drooping. Arms. If you raise your arms and one of them slumps or can't be raised as high. Speech. Slurred or unintelligible speech. Time. Is of the essence. Call 911 immediately. Edit. Guys, I work in a kitchen. Stop asking me specific questions. I'm not a doctor. So important. My wife is a nurse and made sure I knew all this stuff. One day, at work, a young co-worker, who was a very healthy person who ran every day, had a stroke. I called 911 against her vehement protests, and she was in a hospital within 30 minutes. None of my co-workers had a clue what was happening. For teaching me this stuff, my wife gets all the credit. Lock your doors at night. If you've been stabbed and the weapon is left in your body, do not remove it. Edit. As has been brought to my attention, lock your door always. Same goes for any serious penetrating injury. Don't pull whatever it is out. If you ever come into contact with a gorilla, especially a male, stay low and quiet. And no sudden moves. Don't look them in the eyes either. They take loud noises and movement as a challenge and they'll crush you like a soda can. Reminds me of that thread about Poketo, where he beat the ever-living tar out of that lady that kept smiling at him all the time. Gorillas are terrifying. I think I'd genuinely rather fight a bear. Learn to swim. You don't have to be Michael Phelps racing a shark. Just learn the basics. Lesson to recognize the signs of distress in water and use the buddy system in water over your head. My brother was a Marine. He drowned in a popular swimming hole because no one realized he was having trouble and they were too far away once he went under. If someone is trying to abduct you and fighting back or yelling for help doesn't work, then pretend to faint. Or vomit on them. If those tactics don't work, then take the chance of getting stabbed or shot to escape. Once you get in the vehicle with an abductor, your odds of surviving are less than if injured in public. This. Do not let them take you to the second crime scene. Fight for your life. Not really a fact, but someone once told me this. If you wouldn't dare to put your dong in there, don't put your finger in there neither. This is useful, especially with big machines and other things with holes. You can prevent some serious injuries like this. Don't stick your pinky where you wouldn't stick your winky. If you happen to someday find yourself on a sinking boat, and it goes underwater and you're somehow able to get free, beware. Once the air neutralizes, if you're far down enough, water pressure will kill you and collapse your lungs. To avoid this, scream all the way to the top. No joke. While you swim up, scream. It'll keep the pressure from killing you. Would screaming not drain you of air supply? If you're at a bar or club and some a-hole antagonizes you, don't let your ego get involved. Seen so many people get hurt when they could just walk away. Funny thing is, most people think fighting back will defend their pride, but to me and a lot of other people, you just look insecure. Be the cool guy who just laughs it off. Yours sincerely, former bartender. If some guy shoulder checks me in a club, I just say, whoops, sorry bro. Fancy getting a beer. Confuses the hell out of them if they're angling for a fight. Then the next time I see them in a club, they'll wave me over and act as if we're pals. In a crisis situation, people run for the door they came in from. When the shooter walks into the restaurant, run for the kitchen. There's always an exit through the kitchen, and very few people will think to run there. Plus, if you're not armed, a kitchen is full of killer cutlery to defend yourself with. Same on a plane. Flight attendants aren't just telling you the exits are here. Here and here for fun. Go out the nearest exit. Not the one you came in through. There is a YouTube video with tips for if your parachute doesn't work. And it's very loud. Has captions. And is very fast paced. Just in case you're skydiving and need tips fast. Link please. 3 minutes without air. 3 days without water. 3 weeks without food. Worst title for a diet book. The carotid artery. When you see someone whose neck was slashed, cut and is bleeding out profusely, reach for his carotid artery and then pinch it so he'd stop bleeding out. My uncle was saved because of this. Some drunk ass dunt slashed his neck with a broken bottle. His friend reached for his carotid artery so he stopped bleeding out until they reached the ER. Yowta be link. Clint Malarchuk was a goalie in the NHL. He's still alive. Just not a goalie. Got his jugular slashed by another player's skate. His trainer shoved his fingers into the vein and saved his life. Also the ad they throw in at the end is morbidly hilarious. If the accelerator in your car gets stuck and you cannot stop, shift your car into neutral. Don't turn the key in the ignition till you stop moving also. It'll lock the steering. Don't be too proud to ask for help. Life has this odd habit of throwing us curveballs every now and then. It can be difficult to overcome it on your own. So don't be alone. Open up. Confide in people you trust. Seek professional help. And be patient. It takes time. Just don't keep it all in you and fight it alone. That's a recipe for real damage to your mental health and happiness. Mixing bleach with ammonia, both of which are common household cleaning products, can release deadly chlorine gas. Basically, don't mix household cleaners unless you are 100% sure of what you are doing. Also always leave a window open if you're going to mix anything. The best idea is to not mix anything. If you find yourself peeing a lot, I mean just an inordinate amount, you find yourself tired, thirsty, and hungry all the time, you find yourself paradoxically losing weight, diabetes, every head injury, no matter how minor, has the potential to be fatal. Always treat a firearm as if it is loaded. If you are unfamiliar with the weapon and you must move it, point the barrel down at the ground. Keep it away from your feet and keep your finger off the trigger. Turn into a skid. This is the way it was taught to me. Turning into a skid means the difference of going into a ditch and going into a ditch upside down. Chips can be used as a fire starter. I imagine pretty much any snack food that is starch based would work. Personally, I find Doritos to work quite well. So next time you're lost in the woods, stop at the next vending machine you see and it might just save your life. If you are severely malnourished or are starving, actually starving, not just oh I skipped lunch today and I'm hungry, do not stuff yourself full of food. Your body will go crazy and start producing a bunch of nutrients using stuff in your body that's already in low abundance, causing your body to go haywire. No joke. It's called refeeding syndrome. Instead you should eat smaller portions and work your way up over the days. Can't believe I haven't seen a comment about this one. Assume other drivers are out to kill you. Healthy paranoia when paying attention to other drivers is a great basis for successful defensive driving. Assume other drivers are out to kill you. I do, and that's why I hit them first. In a kidnapping situation where the person is trying to get you to force you to go somewhere secluded or into a vehicle, even if they have a weapon, always fight to not go with them and run. If they're trying to get somewhere private, they are planning to do something very bad to you that requires privacy. It's better to be stabbed or shot at in a public place where people can hear you rather than in a secluded place. Usually making a lot of noise and screaming will scare most offenders off. In an emergency situation, if you need help for yourself or someone else, don't just yell help or call 911. Use specifics. Instead say something like "you in the blue shirt. Help." Unless called out personally, people have a tendency to walk on by, assuming someone else will help. Using a personal detail gets them involved. Why didn't you help him? My shirt's really more of a turquoise, isn't it? Learned this one about bear encounters back in middle school, although I'm not sure how accurate it is. If it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, good night. It's pretty accurate from what I've read. Explanation for others. Brown. Grizzly bears are an absolute unit. And you won't win a fight with one. So your best bet is to play dead. Black. Black bears generally don't want to fight and are timid. If you come across one, make yourself big and make lots of noise and you should scare it off. They're not too big too, so you should be able to defend yourself. White. Polar bears are known to hunt humans. And are the largest of all bears. If one's coming after you, you're ducked unless you have a gun. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.